Want to know what Europe does for you? Welcome to the European Parliamentary Research Service podcast on the EU's regional policy.
Europe is diverse. While this is undoubtedly one of its major assets, the EU's diversity also represents a key challenge. Over the years, the EU's regional policy has helped lagging regions catch up with the rest of the EU, creating growth and jobs across Europe.
But what will happen after 2020? Without the UK and with a smaller EU budget as a result, will regional and cohesion policy be able to retain its prominent role and continue to deliver? Stay with us.
Take a walk around your local area and chances are that you'll see a sign with an EU flag near a bridge under construction, on a new hospital wing or on playground facilities.
This is because the EU's regional and cohesion policy has for many years supported job creation, economic growth, sustainable development and business competitiveness in all EU regions.
This form of internal solidarity is administered through a number of funds, notably the European Regional Development Fund, the European Social Fund and the Cohesion Fund.
Along with the European Agricultural Fund for Rural Development and the European Maritime and Fisheries Fund, these funds make up the European Structural and Investment Funds, which aim to make a real difference to the lives of EU citizens.
The more than €350 billion earmarked for regional and cohesion policy in the 2014 to 2020 period provides support for all European regions, but it's the poorest regions that get a large slice of this funding to help them catch up with the rest of the EU. And it's worked.
Yes, it has. The extra support given to countries such as Cyprus, Greece, Portugal and Romania has really helped mitigate the impact of the financial crisis. It is estimated that without the cohesion policy, the much-needed public investments in the poorer member states would have largely collapsed during the crisis.
EU citizens see and appreciate this support and want the EU to continue investing in all EU regions. But with the current programming period drawing to a close and Brexit underway, it's time to ask ourselves a few questions.
What will the new priorities of cohesion policy be? And with fewer resources available for EU policies in the future, will cohesion policy hold on to its share of the budget? The European Parliament wants to retain the same level of funding for cohesion policy or even increase it. But is this feasible? Stay with us.
Well, before we look into the future, we need to understand what direction cohesion policy has been moving in recent years. The EU has really made an effort to simplify the rules for the use of EU funds, including the cohesion funds.
As well as simplifying the process, the EU has also made it more flexible to ensure that regional policy is able to respond quickly and effectively to new challenges, such as the Greek debt crisis or the migration crisis in 2015.
It has also launched important regional policy initiatives such as the Urban Agenda for the EU, measures to boost growth and cohesion in border regions, and new macro-regional strategies to find common solutions to common challenges affecting EU regions.
The European Parliament has played a crucial role through the adoption of new measures to support Greece in times of trouble, help member states stricken by natural disasters, and support growth-sustaining structural reforms in member states, among others.
The Parliament has also made its political position clear on a number of topics related to regional policy, highlighting the need to give cities a greater say in EU decision-making, increase cross-border cooperation, improve the responsiveness of the EU's Solidarity Fund, and promote cohesion and development in the outermost regions.
It has also called for improved coordination of EU funds to address demographic change more effectively and has outlined its vision of the future of cohesion policy. Parliament has stressed the need for the early preparation and timely adoption of all legislation proposals for future cohesion policy so that there's no delay in EU-funded programmes when the new programming period begins in 2021.
Parliament has called on the Commission to keep changes to a minimum and to ensure that cohesion policy continues to benefit all regions in the EU and that it is properly funded, in spite of a shrinking budget.
So, what will happen to cohesion policy after 2020? We'll be right back.
Well, despite shrinking resources, the common aim is to focus support on achieving a smarter, greener, more connected and more social Europe, which is closer to citizens.
Under the Commission's proposals, the future cohesion policy will continue to invest in all EU regions, while the criteria for the allocation of funds will be adjusted slightly to better reflect the reality on the ground. In addition, the outermost regions will continue to benefit from special support, and the urban dimension will be strengthened, giving cities a greater say in shaping the Europe of tomorrow.
Given the urgent need for more support in the area of asylum and migration, the EU's asylum and immigration funds will be incorporated into the EU's regional policy. This should make it easier to create synergies with other EU instruments and funds.
Measures are also planned to facilitate interregional and cross-border cooperation and to communicate the positive results of cohesion policy more effectively so that every citizen can see the impact of EU-funded projects in their local region and in their daily life.
You're listening to the European Parliamentary Research Service podcasts.